Good evening from Kirksville, Missouri. This is Randy Kervin, and this is Rant and Randy's Rant for January 25th, 2020. As I get started, I'll gavel in this meeting. Oh, that man. He cannot keep his mouth shut. Now it's all right with the audio and the videotape provided that now he's changing his story. It's all right now that he should get rid of anybody he wants to at any time after denying that he knew Lev Parnez. So we can count on it since Igor is the one that filmed all this and got the audio. He knows him too. And let's not forget, it was about the super PAC that those two put Russian money into. That super PAC for Donald J. Trump and for Republicans. Shit, you couldn't make this shit up. And then he's going to change the story. And what I thought of today's discussion from the defense sounded like a closing for a defense because they have no defense. They cannot deny he's done certain things. What they're going to do and what they have been doing is lying about the circumstances, that this is all just to get Donald out and off the ticket for 2020. That would be nice. That would be nice to be able to do that. But they want to do this with no witnesses whatsoever. They just want to acquit him and let him go off the deep end at the State of the Union on February 4th. I see this coming about. They don't fool anybody. Oh, say hello to Bernadette. There's Joe. There's Maria, DL. There's Lisa. And of course, Brian. Brian was first here today. All right. And I was about to say at this point, a bright ray of great hope yesterday that the tape is the Nixon smoking gun. Again, an audio tape this time, and now we find out the videotape also shows Donnie right there in the background in the room. And it was released to the audio portion was released to the public last night by NBC. And Donnie was tweeting his ass off about the do nothing Democrats and the impeachment hoax as that was going on. I guess he actually hoped that people are stupid enough to believe that was all a hoax. And what we need right now is my Republican friends need to wake up. This man is going to take away that Social Security that you've got, disability, or anything else like Medicaid, Medicare, will all go because they have to pay for the tax cuts to the rich. And ever since Reagan put it in the general fund, Social Security has been rated, for example, to balance Reagan's budget with his Reaganomics. He stole money from Social Security to balance that budget. That's why they put it in the general fund where they can thieve it when they want to. People, I guess, well, there's so many so young, they don't even remember Reagan at all, except what they read in the history books. And I would remind people there was something like 138 indictments during Reagan over the Iran-Contra scandal that he claimed he knew nothing about. when it turned out he did. There was a hell of a lot of people around him that knew about it. Okay. They also pushed in today's defense unfair process. I can't help but be tickled by that. And why? And why they chose not to, well, they did bring it up. They brought up the hurricane was the excuse for not meeting Zelensky in Poland. Instead, they send Pence in, but they don't mention that he knew more about it too than they're letting on. They want the American people to accept it. Their president, and I'm going to stop with this a minute and explain a few things to my Republican friends. Why is it that they don't want any evidence? If they could clear Donald J. Trump, don't you think they would? Don't you think that they would be the ones wanting the evidence to prove what they are saying? But no, you've got to take their word. And this president, I'll give you two examples, Republicans. He withheld funds to Afghanistan, but he announced it publicly. He withheld funds to Lebanon, but he announced it publicly. Why is it when it came to this, he only got caught when the whistleblower report came out, and then they began their cover up that claiming like today that they didn't know about it. Well, Adam Schiff said different. They did know about it. They knew about it long before Donnie's defense team wants people to think it was. Oh. And they also said there was no evidence of a quid pro quo. That is not true with Mulvaney, which, see, they don't want him because he said there was a quid pro quo in that, get used to it, get over it. It's done all the time. No, it wasn't. But yet they had to hold him back because that wouldn't look good. And their story doesn't include him being in public saying it. That's what they're fighting against. Everything that you Republicans have seen in public, you're supposed to forget that. Don't think about that. Concentrate on, we got to get Donnie off. We got to get Donnie off. They're trying to take your president away from you. No, we're trying to take a dirty man down that thought he could just do whatever in the hell he wanted to under Article 2. Article 2 does not say he can do anything he wants. And that damn defense team knows that too. And let's look at a few of the facts involved in this. The day after Mueller appeared in the House, Donnie makes the perfect call to Zelensky the next day. And we also would have never known about the call if it hadn't have been for the whistleblower. That's when he knew he had been caught at what he was doing. That's when they began covering it up. Oh, shit. So how's everybody doing tonight? You doing good? Let's see. All right, everybody talking to everybody. That's right, Maria. I'm behind you on that. Trickle down. My parents voted for Ronald Reagan. They died in the 90s And they didn't see any trickle down from the old Reagan days because it doesn't happen. It's not real. And even the man that came up with it for Ronald Reagan says it does not work. You don't give money to the top and think it is going to come back down. They do whatever in the hell they want with that money. It's been proven time and again. Oh, let's see if I got anything else more to add to that. Oh, any witness, the plan is to not allow any witnesses. Sondland's record of his statement. Remember, it was Donnie went out on the lawn and said no no quid pro quo 3 times, and then that he didn't want anything from Zelensky. Tell him that he didn't want anything. Well, isn't it strange? Sondland could sit there and lie about that, but he said that there should be records of that. And the White House won't turn over those records, and we know why. Those records didn't exist. He got his cue when he saw the president on television. They think the American people are that stupid. I say we're not. I say we will take back. Even though whatever they want to do, you cannot wipe away impeachment. He is an impeached president. He will have an asterisk next to his name no matter what they do. I'm just hoping that 4, 5, or 6 of them come to their senses and realize what he did should not be acquitted without any evidence, without any witnesses, without any documentation, which I was proud of the Democrats. They took that whole load of evidence over this morning. We can count on it. His defense team won't even look at it. It will go sight unseen if they get their way and they acquit this man. Then you can expect revenge to be exacted on anybody involved in his impeachment. And we know how he is. He'll call them traitors. They should be hung. I just see it coming, folks. I just see it coming. And hopefully, if we keep calling the Republicans, tell them this is not proper. If they want to keep that president, let the evidence come forward. Then make up your mind, not decide after 2 hours of defense today, you're going to decide. And I've noticed some of them are, oh boy, oh yeah, they couldn't possibly have witnesses. It was an unfair process to begin with, blah, blah, blah. Because that's all they got is blah, blah, blah. But if we are persistent and keep calling them throughout this thing, public pressure worked earlier in this trial. It can work again. We have to put pressure on them and make them realize that we know it's about the money they make and the power they have. And they will not have that power in the tsunami of 2020 when everyone votes blue, no matter who. I didn't want to do a long one for you tonight. I probably run my mouth longer than I should have anyway, but I want to remind you that I can be found on Twitter, Liker, and MeWe. Still learning about all 3. I will be checking Monday, more than likely, on the PayPal me, Randall Curvin, with my email address. I'll put it in on my on my wall, the email link, but I've got a feeling that's not working. I've had several people ask me for that link, and I'm not seeing anything from it. So it's possible they told me something wrong. My P.O. box again is another way to help me out. And I like getting your letters and your cards. They lift my spirits, keep me out here, keep me going. All right. Let's see if I've got any other business for right now. Don't believe I do, other than let us all keep in mind democracy dies in darkness. How do you hold a trial without witnesses, without evidence, without documentation? You don't. This wouldn't fly in any other court in the country. I realize it's political, but that's the reason our founders put impeachment in our Constitution, is they knew it would be political also. But there is no way on the outside, the judicial, to handle this. This is the only way it could be handled. This is the only way that you can stop a rogue president. All right. I know I'm going to have a good evening, and kind of, I keep my ear on everything all the time. Yeah, we are, Brian. We're already a dictatorship. And the more they back this man, the more likely is we're seeing a dictatorship now, and it's just going to get worse because this man is pissed and wiped his butt on the Constitution. He doesn't care. He doesn't want a Constitution to start with, because he said way back after he became their president, he said that the Constitution stops him from doing a lot of things he would like to do. So, does somebody like that, my Republican friends, is that who you want? That doesn't give a damn about the Constitution? They can play it up all they want with that defense. But if that was true, why won't they provide the witnesses so that everybody can see that Donnie was right? Because they can't. All right, I will let you go at this time. Have a good evening. Uh, we got a Sunday to rest up and think of other things, kind of take a vacation from it, even though I won't. I know me. But we should get out here, enjoy some music, and in that way, that is the one thing that I've said all along. Music brings people together. We all like music. I saw a few before he got in office that were not liking the Rolling Stones anymore because they appeared in Cuba. And they can't like Elton John back before he got in, because Elton John is gay. And it just went down the line. I still say we can find common ground. Music brings people together, and we can find common ground if we can get back to that point where we can agree to disagree. I would love to see that come back, but I don't think it's likely under Donnie. We are the guardians of liberty, and we will prevail on this. This channel of mine is now grown to 123. My Rant and Randy's the True Patriots group is grown to 324 members now. I had to delete one off today. Their 5 groups weren't anything I ever RANI, and 5 different groups with the same name. So I deleted them off. I don't know who they were. I looked at their timeline. They didn't want to show me anything except that they had 83 friends, none of which I knew. So I just deleted them off. We have been very lucky at my group that we hadn't had any trolls yet. At some time in the near future, as this group grows, I may be asking for your assistance to help out as moderators. At this point, I'm still handling it myself. It's not that big a problem yet, but I stay on top of it and try to make sure anybody that is not invited. Now, I know my good people are not going to bring in the wrong types, but be on the watch out. If they do not have a lot in common, even if they are a friend and they don't have a lot of mutuals, I would say don't invite them. Learn about them more. We had a recent example come up, and the lady had the nerve to poke me today, or it might have been yesterday. In any case, I blocked her because that's the reason I put her name out there. Is she had a bunch of mutuals, and she sits back and waits to see what kind of scam she could pull on people. And she pulled it on one friend, and that would meant she's out. She's not going to be a part of my friends or my group, and I don't want to hear from her anymore. And now, since she's blocked, she can't even follow me. So I feel good about that. Uh, that's about all I got for you, folks. So peace, resist, persist, and I insist. Keep calling them. Let them know this is not flying with the majority of the American people. I'm hoping that the public opinion uh, polls will come out and show that they are way underwater supporting this president. The public should be the ones that are in control of this, other than the senators. I realize that the senators want to ignore what the public wants, but there's going to come a day they're going to regret trying to hold on to their power and their greed above country. Thank you all for coming. I want you to share this shit. Go down there and like and share and get the word out on this. It needs to be heard. Have a good weekend, and I will see you on Monday on Facebook. Have a good one. Bye bye now.